good evening, everybody. It's January 30th, the last show of the first month of the year. Welcome to our big show tonight. It's time for the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. And it's time now to welcome the stars of our show. Here's Ken and Glenn, and me, a guy named Scott.
I love the opening. I love the opening. By the way, it's
Ernest says, "Hey,
turn around."
It's the first time since Easter, since the beginning of the show, that you got the date wrong.
Oh, good grief. It's the 31st. Oh, my gosh. It is.
I just want to tell you, congratulations on almost making it through the first year.
Oh, my gosh. You know, and the funny thing is.
Hey, wait, let's do a retake.
I missed it. It's right. Oh,
hey, show them what it would have looked like if you had
let's
the 31st.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again because people are going to be completely thrown off, Scott.
Yeah, let's do it again. Ready?
Hang on. I got to put my mic back on in here. In the interest of good audio so that Ken doesn't yell at me.
And Ken, can you share it out to our Facebook page? I put it on my page, but to the Extra Mile page, I don't know what.
We're going to do this again, guys. We got to restart. So
we have a very patient audience. That's the beauty.
They are.
The beauty of it.
They're just good people, man.
They're some of the best people I've ever met. Be honest with you.
You've never
some
met
of the best people that's ever watched this show. I'll tell you that. It's...
All right, here we go. Ready?
We doing the whole countdown, or we're doing starting? Okay, here we go. Welcome, everybody. It's the last show of January. It is Sunday, January 31st. Time once again for the Ken and Glenn Show. Yeah, with me, a guy named Scott. And here's the stars of our show once again, Ken and Glenn. And me, the turnaround guy named Scott.
Scott, you didn't change your microphone though.
I know. You know what I did? I put it on. I didn't turn it on. So
we're not going to ask for a take 3. It's okay.
No more.
Hey, happy end of the month. 28 years ago. 28 years ago on this date, Scott McCain and I were at the Super Bowl in Pasadena, California.
Yes.
28 years ago today, watching Michael Jackson perform the halftime show. It was Sunday, December 31st. January. See, it's catchy. January 31st of 1993, when the Dallas Cowboys beat the Buffalo Bills 52-17, and Michael Jackson was the halftime show. And Scott and I were there. And we were 27 years away from ever meeting. What's that, bud?
Wow.
And he performed with a children's choir, which is something that you didn't see.
Oh my God. Wait a minute.
Wow, we just opened up a whole new bag.
Welcome to the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott.
And a player to be named later.
But isn't that wild to realize that? If you rewind the game film, and I don't mean the actual game, I mean our life game. Yeah. If you rewind that moment, Scott, to realize that I was sitting there in the stands with something like, I think it was 98,217. It was something in that range. Yeah. And one of them was a guy that 27 years down the road,
is that crazy?
I will be doing a talk show with, and I'm not going to meet him for another 27 years. Isn't that insane and simultaneously beautiful?
I love it. It really is. And, as a Cowboys fan too, what a great day for you.
Yeah, well, we were counting our Super Bowl victories heavily in the 90s because we were going to be without them for a while.
Oh, look, guys.
It's first Feb here.
Happy
and it's
birthday.
my birthday.
Wow.
Andrea is 55 years young.
You're
today.
55? No way. Wow. I would have never guessed.
Do,
55.
what do you say we sing? We sang last week to Rini.
Well, I think it works best if just one of us.
Okay, go ahead. And
you sing.
You sang.
Yeah. Go ahead, Glenn.
I sang last week.
Yes, you did.
I know, but you've got the most beautiful
Happy
voice.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andrea. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday.
And Andrea, you also just saw why we have Glenn sing, because if Ken and I,
Hey, I'm pretty good.
you might be. I just know I'm not. With my pals in Diamond Rio, they sing the national anthem. And so the three guys that harmonize are on one mic, and the drummer and guitar player and the piano player are on another mic. They don't even turn it on.
Hey, there's Pitter.
Pitter's
our buddy from Clubhouse. Hi, Pitter. From the great state of Georgia. Ernest Odell, good evening. Holly, good evening. Thanks for being first tonight. Colleen, good evening. Brian Kelm in the house. Larry Schneider in the house. Bruce Mills in the house. Who else is here tonight? I mean, we got a lot of people. We can't name them all.
Look at Andrea's comment. She Andrea, how many movie stars, and I mean internationally known movie stars, have ever sang happy birthday to you? Besides Glenn. I mean, it's got to be a first. What? She'll be like, well, besides that time that Will Smith did it, Tom
Hanks did it for me as well. And other than these 17 global stars, and then we slipped in some schmuck from televion.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
Hey, don't we need to welcome
Obama a movie star? That'd be the great one. I don't know. Do you consider Obama a movie star? I really don't.
Oh my God,
that's funny as hell.
That is funny.
Yeah, I don't know if Obama qualifies as a movie star, but he sang to me.
He sang to me.
Wait, Scott, it gets better. At the White House.
Right.
As he was bringing me the cake.
Right, exactly. Himself, which he cut, by the way. Right. He also cut the cake. Don't we have Scott Ricard to welcome? I have to hear you say it.
There he is. Scott Ricard is in the house. We have an Obama lover on now.
Yes. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your input.
And Cincinnati.
So how was your week?
It's hard to top the Glenn Morshower week, don't you think? I think that's the week of weeks right there.
He had a week.
I did find out who the biggest movie star ever is. I found that out this week because our film opened, as you guys know, The Little Things with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek and Jared Leto. We went to see it Friday in the theater first. Yasmin held a screening for a bunch of extra milers later that night. But, I wanted the experience on the big screen, and we saw it in a very big theater, which I tell you, theaters, for the record, are now the safest place in America. You think about you don't want to go to a movie theater. Actually, it's the other way around. And the reason is because nobody's going to the theater. Yeah. So we were in there on opening day, and huge theater, and there were like 15, maybe 18 people tops in the theater. And it's not because the movie is not a score. Hold on just a second, guys.
Bless you.
See how I've learned to turn off my microphone?
Good job.
See that? Man. Swift move.
Grow Live Academy. This sneeze brought to you by
this sneeze. This is how we teach someone to sneeze at the Grow Live Academy. just have them turn off their microphone and sneeze away to their heart's content. But no, it's true. There were like nobody there, and the film is going to do very well because it was seen by a lot of people. But that's courtesy of HBO Max. So we donned our masks. That was a requirement of the theater, and you have to wear them in the theater. So we felt incredibly safe. Nobody anywhere. The closest person was probably 30 feet away. Wow. And we had a really good time. What I didn't know is that Denzel Washington is the shoehorn to hearing from people you haven't heard from since high school.
Wow.
Clint Eastwood didn't bring him out of the woodwork. Kiefer Sutherland didn't bring him out of the woodwork. All the years I did on the West Wing with Martin Sheen didn't bring him out of the woodwork. But you do 2 scenes with Denzel Washington, and everybody wants to know, dude, what was that like?
Yeah.
What was that like? Well, it was like any other job I've done. Is we showed up, we looked each other in the eye, told the truth, and then they said that's a wrap, gentlemen. But anyway, it was an enjoyable experience, and I enjoyed the movie. I thought Jared Leto just lit it up. If you need creepy producers, executive producers of the world, if you need creepy for your movie, don't even hold auditions. Just call Jared Leto, okay? Because he's creepy.
He was.
If I was back in the reviewing days,
yeah, what would you say?
I would give it 4 stars.
Out of what?
4 out of 5. The only thing I had a little trouble with was at the beginning. I couldn't get into Rami Malek's character at the beginning. By the end, I was all in.
Yeah.
But it was a little that was the. But you know what
I
I
able
love?
to pinpoint why, Scott? And you know what I love about you and Ken both is that you're not going to snow me. You're not going to go, it was an absolute 6 out of 5. You know, you're not going to do that. You're going to say, hey, dude, it was a 3 out of 5, or it was a 4 out of 5. And I know you would both go, don't even ask me. Do me a favor. Don't even mention it on the show because I thought it was a 2 out of 5. But no, I know you're telling me the truth when you say 4 out of 5. So what was it about him that something didn't click for you? Do you know?
I don't know that it was him as much as it was, okay, where Denzel's character, it took a while to reveal to the audience that Denzel's character basically had that job before Rami Malek. And so it just seemed like there was a little more antagonism or distance between them than you would think. But what it came around to in terms of, you know, asking for his help and all of that, I just thought should have been a little earlier. But I will tell you, obviously, I love the performances. Denzel's fantastic, and Glenn, you're extraordinary in your role. I mean, it's just so well done. I also loved, and I'm not going to give it away, I loved the ending. I've seen some people critique it online.
What, because of its ambiguity?
Yes, I loved that it wasn't the typical Act 3, you know,
put a bow tie around it.
Yeah, and that.
But can I got, and this isn't going to give anything away.
No, but these words are about to be coming out of the mouth of Ken Wall's movie reviewer, which I've never heard you be a movie reviewer. So that's going to be fun.
We'll all get it without giving it away. The metal box in the fire part just didn't.
Well, here's the thing. They don't tend to burn well. You don't think when you're thinking in terms of kindling, you don't really think metal box. And here's the thing. If you thought the metal box would burn well, then wouldn't it have burnt up the very metal trash can that the fire was in?
And there were some other little metal pieces thrown in there. I'm not gonna give it away, but it just didn't. It didn't. Like, I could see taking that and crushing it. I mean,
right. You're just saying hashtag metal doesn't burn. Right? Isn't that what you're saying?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
And you know, isn't it funny? I mean, like, for example, I'm watching that new Bryan Cranston series, Your Honor, and he's amazing. I mean, he is just so spectacular. But there is a plot hole in that thing so big. It's the old thing. You drive a truck through it, and you kind of go, Well, at some point, and Glenn, you know this infinitely better. I don't know anything about it, but at some point, doesn't somebody raise their hand and go, wait a minute.
Permission to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say?
Wait,
Permission to
wait.
speak.
Hey, y'all, I don't know if y'all thought about this or not, but metal don't burn very well.
Yeah.
So what does he play? What is his character? Because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his acting.
He's the reason to watch it. He's absolutely fantastic. And I'm drawing a blank. The guy that starred in the Coen movie as the lonely Jewish father, that was one of their real small movies. Anyway, so Bryan Cranston's son has asthma, and it is the anniversary of when, and at this time you don't know how she died, but you know that Cranston's wife, this kid's mom, died.
Sure.
So the kid is in this old beater car that he has, and he's going to go by the spot where his mom died, lay a wreath at the spot, honor his mom's death. And some other things happen that scare him. And so as he's driving away, he's having an asthma attack. He drops his inhaler. He's looking for his inhaler. And as he looks down for the inhaler, his car goes off into the other lane and hits a motorcyclist square on. And the motorcyclist now is laying on the throes of death. He goes over, the son goes over, tries to call 911, tries to help him breathe, but then the kid passes away. The kid with asthma still can't breathe, right? He still's got to find his inhaler. He crawls back to his car, gets the inhaler, and panics and drives away, leaving the motorcyclist there dead. Goes home, tells his dad what he's done. Bryan Cranston, being a judge, says, we have to go tell the truth. We have to go turn you in. Drives into the police station. Cranston says, wait here just a minute. I'm going to go in and get a cop that I know, and we're going to step forward on this. As he goes in, he sees the grieving parents of the motorcyclist, and the guy is the head of the mafia in New Orleans, who thinks nothing about killing.
Talk about instant elevated stakes.
Absolutely. So now, one, you're like, oh my gosh, it's how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to, the whole bit? Okay, so then in the next couple of shows, now the mafia guy wants to know, who killed my son and left him to die on the street. They go back to the accident scene and they find the discarded inhaler. So the investigator says, now we know whoever killed your son has asthma, right? Because we found the inhaler. Fast forward, a couple things happen, and all of a sudden they grab Bryan Cranston and they're about to kill him because now they're convinced that he killed the son when he doesn't have asthma, and they never ask him if he has asthma. And the only thing that led them to what led to the search was finding the discarded inhaler. So it never explains how they made that leap.
You're saying there's some assumptions going on in the writing.
Yeah. I mean, it never shows how did they change their mind and believe that it was Cranston that ran over the son, when the only way that they've gone down that pathway to find who hit the kid was the asthma inhaler. And there must be something on the cutting room floor or say, which you'd think if you had 10 episodes, you'd find time to stick that in. But
is all of that information, is that in the pilot?
No, it's in the first two.
Oh, okay. So where do we see this show and the name of it again? I want to write it down.
It is on Showtime. It is called Your Honor. And the performances are just fantastic. Matter of fact, the courtroom drama has just started, and this is episode 6, I believe, that Tammy and I watched here the other night. And Maura Tierney plays an attorney, and she's unrecognizable. She was the cute gal in news radio in that sitcom. She's been on a bunch of other stuff. She's absolutely unrecognizable in this. There is a character actress. I don't know if you've ever worked with Amy Landecker.
No.
Rings a bell. She is terrific in it. And the reason I knew who she was is I went to college with her cousin. I've never met her, but there was a great disc jockey in Chicago named John Records Landecker. And that was his tag phrase was Records truly is my middle name. And this is back when disc jockeys played disc, they played records. Well, so I meet this guy at college named Jim Records. And when he found out that I worked in radio, he said, "Oh, have you ever heard of my cousin John?" I said, "John Records." He said, "Yeah, Records really is his middle name."
Wow.
He became a disc jockey. Maybe some of the folks in Chicago, he did mornings in Toronto, but he is a legend in Chicago radio.
Wow.
But anyway, she's in it. It's got a phenomenal cast, but it's just kind of like, but how did they decide? Yeah, Ernest, it did. It had a prescription label on it, but why did they decide that it was
the judge?
It was the judge, not the son, because they haven't done any. They haven't threatened to. They haven't done anything to the son.
Did it show a name? Do they have the same name?
Mm-hmm.
And they just assumed?
No, the son has a different name than the dad.
Oh,
yeah. Jay Fox. Wow. No kid.
Hey, Jay's on my show tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. I have never met John Landecker. That would be, oh my gosh, that would be such a treat. Yeah.
Jay is on your show tomorrow, which I'm going to have to watch the replay because I'm teaching in the morning. I'll probably get to watch the first few minutes of the show. Yeah. So forgive me for not being with you guys live, but Jay, have a good show with Ken tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Ken's a great host. That'll be a piece of cake. A lot of fun. Hey, Scott, how did your event go this week? Cheers to you, my friend. I don't have my Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott.
I can tell you how his event went. Let's just remove him.
Like I said, hey, Ken, how did Scott's event go this week?
It was
5 stars.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was really, really, really powerful.
Well, I know that's not just said for the audience because that's what you told me privately. You said it was a rocking outing.
It was freaking.
You said amazing. It was full of information and that Scott was rock solid.
It was good. It was really, really good.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Did you mind the helm single-handedly?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the great thing is I had guys like Ken and guys and gals that were a part of it that really got into it, participated in it, and so it was really. Man, I'm still on cloud 9 because it exceeded my expectations. Don't know if that's good or if maybe I needed higher expectations, but
no, dude, it was
worked out great.
Really, really, just so much insight on. I've been in sales since professionally since I was 17. So, yeah. I've gotten really, I think, pretty good at being able to convey a story. Whenever you're selling anything, you're just transferring a belief system, and you do that via storytelling. And to be able to say, well, here is the structure. This is the structure, and I had never ever heard that material in my life, and so it was just like it was mind blowing to me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Brian, Scott has great
Brian
content.
Kelm was there, and so that was very nice.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you. So
it's one thing to have great content. It's another to have great content presented by a master, and it's yet another to have great content presented by a master who has a voice that we'd love to just hear read the friggin' phone book to us.
I know, right?
I mean, so it's just the truth is that Scott has worked very hard and trained his voice as a presenter. Those of us that make our living with our voice, we do know how much the voice matters. And so that's key. And I think, frankly, a great message deserves a great messenger.
Well,
I've always felt that because, you can have I was on Clubhouse. Well, how can I be truthful? Every day.
I was going to say,
Yeah, I was on Clubhouse every day this week, except my teaching days, and then I popped in one of the days for a few minutes. But the point is, I was showing them how important tonality was in a room this morning, and I was saying, imagine if you had a guy go, "Okay, hello everybody. If you would please get out your papers and your pens. because I am here today to talk to you about happiness. I mean, would you study from that schmuck? Of course you wouldn't. That's not who you sign up to learn from. So you want to make sure that whoever the messenger is, make sure that your messenger matches the power of the message. Otherwise, it won't be valued at all. And you could be dropping absolute gems, gold nuggets, and they wouldn't catch it.
Get it? Yeah.
Nope.
Right? Because so much of it is about the messenger. We know this from sales. As much as they're buying the product, they're buying the salesman also. For sure they are.
Lynn, that's part of what I loved about your performance in the little things. Is it just seemed so natural. It seemed so conversational. And I know that's the art of it. I mean, I know that is what you are such a master at. But I guess when you asked me earlier, I didn't have the thinking crystallized. But at the early part, it seemed like, and good Lord, he's an Academy Award winner. Who am I to say anything? But I mean, it seemed like Rami Malek was acting a bit. He had a cut. Now, I thought that eroded over the period. Maybe I just need to get used to his style. But man, you were just so conversational. And one of the things, talk about the little things, one of the things that really made it work for me as just an observer is you had to be conversational to portray that you were Denzel's boss. We are used to seeing Denzel as the movie
on a
star,
pedestal,
the guy in charge. Absolutely. And the way that you didn't defer to him or relate to him anything other than a very conversational tone that a friend would have with a friend, simultaneously a superior would have with a subordinate. I mean, that's, to me, that's the best example of what you're talking about.
Right. Well, and
I use your tone.
I can shed some light on that, because what you have to consider is that as you are doing the scene with him, you're not doing the scene, and I'm meaning this now literally. You break it down literally. You're not doing the scene with an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
You're doing the scene with a character that is being played by an Oscar winner. There is a distinction.
Yes,
so, for example, one of the things that I've been coaching my actors to do for years. Good evening, Priscilla. Love to you in Florida, darling. But I will tell them, for example, name the profession. I'm going to ask you guys, Ken, name a profession.
Any profession?
Profession.
Professional speaker.
All right. Scott, name a profession.
Insurance salesperson.
Okay. So with those two roles, let's say those are roles in the movie. What we want to make sure, did you say insurance salesman?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure, and I don't think this is tough to follow, but it's necessary information, is the idea is to play the professional speaker. The idea is to be that professional speaker. The idea is to be that insurance salesman, and check this out, and not be an actor playing one. So, for example, we've got doctors on The Resident, and one of the things that would keep you from getting cast is you have to come across as a doctor. You can't come across as an actor playing a doctor.
Interesting.
So there's an elevated beingness factor. And you're absolutely right, because it was an honor to work with Denzel, but not when camera was rolling.
There you go. That's a powerful statement right there.
What is rolling? I can't be in that modality. When camera was rolling, I'm his captain.
Yep.
Period. And that's the relationship that has been agreed upon. You understand? I'm saying between those characters, he knows, hey, Cap, what's up? And I call him Deke, not even the full name, Deke. Right. So there is history there. And the 45 minutes we spent before we rolled camera just talking alone, this was after rehearsal, when we went off and visited and got on the same page we were creating rapport that those characters would actually have. So that we're tapping into something instead of, I know your work, you know my work, we know each other's work, but we've never met and we've never worked together. Well, we need to get over that real quickly and tap into the fact that I see you here at the precinct every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And we probably had a couple of barbecues together. You know what I mean? We know each other's partners, significant others, children, if you have them. And so you create what's called in acting a backstory. Yeah. You create history that even though it's not on the page,
right? Because
it probably isn't, because they don't have time in a 90-minute or 110-minute movie. They don't have time to go into every character's backstory. So you have to create your own backstory that gives you a history to dip into so that you're speaking from something. Otherwise, you're going to be speaking from pretending, which never works.
Then, yeah.
What is a notable difference? I mean, give me an example. What's an actor playing a doctor and an actor being a doctor?
For one thing, actors are known for posing. Doctors don't pose. They don't pose. They don't find marks to stand on and turn and find their light. They also don't care about the angle they give you news from. Whereas an actor would be preoccupied with that kind of thing. So there is an intrinsic tendency to overdo everything.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about like big going, hi, good morning, I'd like to, I don't mean that kind of grandiosity. I'm talking about watch how doctors talk with people.
Right.
And then don't do anything more than that. Because otherwise, you're putting steak sauce on every moment, It doesn't need it, and you're serving up basic reality. Like when, for example, when is the last time someone served you a hot dog with parsley on the side? Hot dogs don't come with parsley, right? Fillets come with parsley. Yeah. Hot dogs don't. So you have to, as an actor, you have to recognize what is a fillet moment and what is a hot dog moment. And if it's a fillet moment, you make sure that that scene is served up on china with parsley. Yeah. If it's a hot dog moment would be an actor coming in going, your water, ma'am? And that's it. We never see the actor again. Whatever you do, don't serve that moment up on china. It's overkill and you look stupid.
Got it. Yeah.
That was a real aha about why I loved your performance so much, Glenn.
Thank you, man.
The comfortable casualness with which you were his superior and yet his colleague.
Yeah.
As opposed to the typical police captain barking out the orders and, hey, go to Los Angeles and pick this up. And, as the police captain is stereotypically performed. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm conveying that right, but
I get it. And it's exactly what I was thinking.
You were even kind of slumped in the chair a little bit as he came in. There wasn't a,
Yeah, well, the captain wouldn't snap to attention.
Right. Exactly. But how many police shows do we see where doesn't matter, the captain's always sitting like this and he leans into his desk and tells them to get out there and solve this crime and do this, that's
I've seen all of them, which is exactly why I don't do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How many have we seen? All of them.
Yeah. Oh, look at Brad Leland.
Hey.
Rare. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Hey, Brad Leland, when does your movie open, dude? I know it's coming up soon.
Dude, more important than his movie is he's going to be on my show on the 9th of February.
Oh, we got a date.
I think it's the 9th. Yeah. Yeah, he's booked.
All right. Attention, all Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott fans. Brad Leland, the original, the inimitable Brad Leland will be on Ken Wall's Breakthrough Walls on February the 9th. Yeah. What day of the week is that, Ken? Is that a Tuesday? I think it's a Tuesday.
Dude, how do you know that?
Wow, because today's the 31st. That means Tuesday's the 2nd. Add 7 days is the 9th. Hello.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's called math.
That's
Bubba.
Pretty impressive. You did. I know what it's called. I'm just impressed that you did it that quickly. That's all.
Wow. Hey, tonight's show, which we typically discuss what the show is about at 7:36, 7:38-ish every week. Don't we, guys? Isn't that when we announce what the show is about?
Yes.
The show is about thinking out of the box tonight. And what does that produce in your life?
I'm never going to say the show's about 90 minutes. That's what we're doing.
I want to say hello to all of our Clubhouse fans. We've acquired some more viewers courtesy of Clubhouse. We love that you're here with us. It's been a lot of fun to play with you guys online. And welcome to our team here, the Three Musketeers, every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Should we simulcast this on Clubhouse sometime?
Should we show everybody what I'm showing them right now?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm slouching there a little bit, huh?
There's a sneak peek. No, you're lean back in your chair acting like a boss.
Right.
Because you are a boss in the movie.
Yeah, I call that my who gives a shit pose.
As you're talking to Denzel, it's freaking awesome, man. So there's Brad. There's the details.
Oh, nice,
it's
Brad.
showing Sundance today. Wow.
Wow. So I'm assuming you're not at Sundance, or are you, Brad? They're not actually doing a festival open for the public, are they?
No.
It's online. Sundance online.
Yeah. Did you see Apple TV bought a film at Sundance and set the record this year? $25 million up front to buy the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paul Williams is saying good room on authenticity the other day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciate that.
Dude, he's been on my show. He's a good dude.
Everyone at some point in their life, am I wrong, Ken? Doesn't everybody do your show at some point?
No, not everybody.
No, everybody. Isn't that kind of a rite of passage in life?
No, I have standards.
I can think of somebody.
I mean, I had
You're too funny, Mr. McCain. I love it.
What? Wait, did I miss that?
He slipped a fastball on the inside.
Inside corner.
Inside corner.
I said, I can think of somebody that hadn't been on your show. Won't be making an appearance.
Oh, yeah. Promise you there's at least one person.
I have a list.
A bit inside.
I have Ken's list of people that will never appear on our show. Oh, it's funny.
My buddy I was telling you about in Atlanta, Alpha Truett, who is an actor, but he for many years Alpha did stand up, and I could never do it, but he had one of the funniest bits on lottery winners and how the news would go to the trailer park and get the guy going, hey, well, it's a wonderful thing that we won, but I ain't gonna quit my job. They let me down there at the factory, and I'm gonna keep. And, he does that whole thing. Then he says, by the way, let me take you to my press conference. 50 million. I have this list of people who can kiss my ass. All right. He's going into work. Boss says you're late. You're fired. He says, I'm late because I just bought this place. You're fired.
Now, I'm curious because I want to pose this. I know it's sort of not directly on the topic that we presented a mere 4 minutes ago that we haven't even delved into, and yet here's a new topic. But and I'm not being boastful when I say this. I'm being truthful. If I were to win a massive lottery, I would not change my schedule for what I do in my life. And I'm sure that's rare, but it's not nonsense. I really mean that. I would teach the same 2 days that I do, all day and night, Monday and Tuesday. I would stay in the hunt as an actor, just as I do. And I would stay here in this home in Dallas, just as we do. And we would have more to explore options, do maybe some different creative things with, but we're already doing creative things.
I mean, you already have more money than most lottery winners. So
no, I don't. Nice try. But my point is that here's the thing, Ken. My point is that even pre 24, which kind of changed things into a different level of earnings, even pre 24, I was living the life that I would always want to live. And I just really encourage that. And I think that's really what all of my coaching has been about. If I can take a moment on the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott to be serious, my life coaching has been about encouraging people to not postpone their celebrations of their life, but instead to look around and claim this moment to be a good one, no matter what you're doing. Just to stop and go, you know what, this is a good moment, because we have no guarantees. So if you have a vision for something different than what it currently looks like, then great. And let's get to work on creating that. We're not going to hope it, wish it, or want it into existence. We're going to systematically build it. But meanwhile, enjoy this moment. And so perhaps it's peculiar that I don't find myself yearning for more, but I don't. My life is just fine with more of what I'm already experiencing. I'm very happy with that. And I think that there is a disease called more that is rampant, and it might be the biggest condition of that disease anywhere in the world, might just be right here on our own home turf here in the United States, where people are led to believe that they are not enough and that they don't have enough. And so there's this ongoing quest for more. And unfortunately, there's a trailer hitch to that and happiness, or so they've been led to believe. So that until they acquire that more, they're feeling a sense of not enoughness or of inadequacy. And they're forever comparing themselves to the proverbial Joneses, who don't even exist, by the way. And that's one of the memos I think we're going to get on our death day is, oh, by the way, the Joneses that you were always concerned with keeping up with, they didn't exist. Yeah, they were never there. It's a society term. So, I mean, just some thoughts on that. I think we've got to choose right now to go ahead and decide what level of joy we want to live with and stop making excuses as to why we can't experience that.
I agree.
And that's why I love being with you guys.
I do know that if I hit the lottery, I would at least buy you a new DVD rack.
See, to my point. I'm happy having DVDs here, and it's okay. And here's the thing: I'm also happy having a friend who gives me shit on camera in front of the world, and I don't replace him. Why haven't I done that? Why haven't I replaced Ken Walsh?
Dude, because you love me.
And because I love him and because he's genuine. That's why.
And I do. I have a crap load of DVDs. I don't have a DVD player. You what?
I said, you just don't display them. And look at all of Scott's hotels that he owns behind him. Look at those.
Isn't that
nice?
nice?
Reed, I mean, look at the difference in our prosperity. I'm displaying DVD racks. Scott is showing us all of these fabulous hotels. I love it. And you out at Leonard.
Look at that.
What is Olga saying?
She's so sweet.
Oh, conscious men do exist, and I'm very serious
so
about
nice,
it, not
Olga.
joking here. Wow, Olga. So Olga is another great treasure that we discovered on Clubhouse.
She's
welcome,
amazing.
Olga. We're glad you're here, honey. Glad to have you here tonight.
Sandy, thank you, Sandy. That's right. Thank
Ken
you.
is irreplaceable.
Ralph says VHS.
It just taped.
I don't think there are any of those.
No,
over
beta.
there.
You know, I
Betamax,
remember
yes.
though.
VHS, no.
They don't have any
I
VHS.
remember when DVDs came out. I'm sure you guys do, and I thought there is no way they're going to replace this.
Right. You
And
thought
then
that was the top of the line, huh?
I thought this is it, man.
State of the art. Never going to improve this one.
No way, man. We used to have to watch movies on reel to reel. You remember reel to reel? I mean, the projectors like that, and then we got VHS, and then then DVDs, and I thought, well, this is crazy cool. And you go to Blockbuster. That's never going anywhere.
Yeah. Who would ever thought Blockbuster was going away?
I mean,
and
you go
the
into
the last
Blockbuster.
person to think Blockbuster was going out was Blockbuster.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, especially since they had, we should talk about passed by opportunities.
Let's do that right after we discuss thinking out of the box.
Right. Well, It's
Well, but they tie together, right?
They do.
Wait, Scott's going to bring it all together for us right now.
Here we
Well,
go. Come
I
on,
mean,
Scott.
Mark Randolph, co-founder of Netflix, is also on the faculty at High Point University, and he tells the story. They went to Blockbuster and said,
Yep.
"Please buy us."
Yep.
And
50 million or something.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I mean, it
was like
a lot of money, but not a lot of money. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
comparatively speaking. And they said, no, people don't want to get the stuff in the mail. They want to come to the store and browse. We're in a different business. Your business will never work because
we're better than you. Basically,
we're bigger than you. We're better than you. We are a retail. People go to the store, just like anything that Amazon did. Barnes and Noble at the time had infinitely more money than Amazon did at that time.
Infinitely.
People want to go to the bookstore. They don't want to order it online and have it delivered.
Look at what Michelle says. Remember the late fees? Because I was the king. I swear I found a movie under the seat of my car that had been there for I don't even know how long. I think Blockbuster wanted me to give them something like $1,000 in late fees. It was something ridiculous. I said, "You all are on crack. There's another video rental place right down the street. I am not paying your stupid late fees." And look what happened to them. I mean, they're gone. There's one store left in the world, I heard. The original or something.
Yeah. But that's
just as a museum artifact. I mean, they're not even in business. It's just there.
It's crazy, man. It's just like, but see, that's the thing is they didn't think outside of the box. And they passed by an opportunity that could have changed the history of their entire company. And they just, boom, gone.
And by the way, legend has it that the Wright brothers went to Union Pacific Railroad and offered them to buy patents on the airplane. And they're in the train business. And not, and again, part of it is, how do you see yourself? Is for Blockbuster, is your job entertainment or is your job renting videos?
Right.
If your Union Pacific, is your job, transportation and freight, or is it the railroad? And when you see yourself in your business as small, then that's how you think.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sandy worked at the video.
Sandy worked at a video store, apparently. We actually don't start True Confessions for another 2 minutes. That's usually at 51 after the hour, Sandy. But wow, that's cool.
It's funny.
This brings up a phrase that I heard said this week. I've heard it before, but it's been a while, and it popped up in conversation. Didn't roll off my tongue. Someone else said it, and I just went, "Ooh, that's beautiful." And what they said is, "What we do today echoes throughout eternity." And I went, yeah, that's, I'm going to mention that on the show, that what you do today echoes throughout eternity. So making a good decision today has serious down the road implications, or what opportunity you miss today can have serious down the road implications. So, Will Smith said it when we were doing After Earth. I shared this with you guys. Will said, "I never set out to build structures, but I commit each day to laying down a well-placed brick."
Yeah.
One well-placed brick.
Wow.
He told me that just one-on-one. And I thought, oh, Will, that's beautiful. He said, and it's interesting. The next day I just do it all over again. Only it's a little bit easier that second day.
Yeah.
Why? Because you have a bit of a template. You have a brick to lay it adjacent to. Yeah. And now the time you get the third brick, you actually have some sort of design. There's a pathway headed. So with each brick you lay down, it gets easier and easier. And before you know it, he said, one day I looked up and I had a wall, and I never set out to build a wall, Glenn. I just made it a point to lay down one well-placed brick a day. And I think it's a beautiful teaching about the school of incrementalism. So thank you, Will Smith, for that one.
I think I just drew a blank. I had something I wanted to add on to that.
You guys have probably heard the story about the man sees these people laying brick, and he walks up to the first one and he says, "What are you doing?" And the first man says, I'm making $15 an hour. And he goes to the second one and he says, "What are you doing?" And the second one says, "I'm laying brick." And he goes to the third one and he says, "What are you doing?" And the third one says, "I am building a great cathedral." And they fired him because they were supposed to be building a gas station. But
Oh my God.
That gets the Ken Walls triple pat. That's funny. They fired him because.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So thinking out of the box, let's offer some stories and look at some of our chime-ins in the chat room for stories about out of the box. Scott, some out of the box moments. I know you and Ken have most assuredly. You're both creative, nonlinear thinkers. That doesn't mean you only think nonlinearly. It's that you add nonlinear thinking to your approach. So what's one of the great or a couple of out of the box moments of your life that had you been linear, it wouldn't have gone as well as it did, or maybe it wouldn't have happened at all? Give us some of those, guys.
What a great question.
Good evening, John. Another person from Clubhouse.
Well,
that lives right here in the Northeast Texas.
We've been friends for several years.
Like I said, John, a dear friend of Ken's for several years.
We've never met in person though. So yeah. He's not like you, Glenn. He hasn't jumped on an airplane to fly into Nashville.
John didn't make the effort like I did he? He didn't jump on a plane to come meet you on the side of the road in Nashville.
I don't feel like he cares.
And thus the expression degrees of friendship. That's what it comes down to, John. Hard work and commitment. Go ahead, Scott.
Working out some cash for an airplane ticket.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, one of the things I talk about in my speeches is that I think a lot of people aren't clear to begin with, and that's why thinking out of the box, they haven't even defined the box, right? If we don't know the box and if we haven't defined it, then we are constantly, and I think that's one of the things too. We have to have a great sense of clarity about who we are and what we're, what's important to us. You guys exemplify that. Think about the conversation we just had about the lottery, right? To say that I would continue to do much of what I am doing, live where I live. I mean, for many, many people, that's out of the box thinking, where for us, I think we all kind of went, yeah, I get that. I understand that. For me, though, I think out of the box thinking is when you decide to do something because you're convinced it is the right approach, even when those around you say that that's not the case. For me, it was when I started talking about distinction, and I had clients call and say, "Oh, for God's sake, Scott, nobody asked for a speech about that. Go back to talking about customer service. Talk about what everybody else is talking about." And I think that's one of the challenges, isn't it? It's not only that we need to think outside the box, but we got to do outside the box. Nike doesn't say just think about it. They say just do it. And so we have to discipline ourselves not only to be creative in our thinking, but to follow up that creative thinking with acting. Glenn, I will bet that you have folks that you have encountered who could really do great, but it's really hard for them to go on the auditions. Well,
in droves.
If you don't actually do it, then what you've learned, we've said this before here, but whoever said knowledge is power didn't get it right. If knowledge was power, then the university campuses would control the world.
Let me guess. Applied knowledge is power,
exactly
or
right.
Implemented?
It is the implementation of knowledge that is power. Yeah.
And I'm just going to make the announcement right here. I've been thinking about this, and I know that I need to do it. It's been stuck in my crawl for 6 months. And I actually have started to write some words down about it. But I'm going to write the book on decision making, because I truly think that the world needs another book.
I know you're saying that jokingly, but the world probably does need this book.
Yeah. So I, as you guys know, and I'm not shy about it. I'm a recovered alcoholic, high school dropout. I didn't go to college. I went to OSU campus to party with college kids. And I said it the other night, like, I'm pretty sure that the kids that were at OSU paying to be there were there for the same exact reason I was there. A lot of them just to party. But it all comes down to making decisions and then taking action. And Scott, you just said the same thing, but everything that I can think of that anything I've ever been successful at, I was just like, maybe I was just dumb enough to try. Like, sure, man, looks good. Hey, y'all, hold my beer. Like, watch this. And I just go. When I was out of a pretty nasty divorce and stayed at a buddy's house, sleeping in his sunroom, Florida room, they call it. And I lost my job. I was an emotional mess and lost this job I had and was making well into six figures but I lost it. And I all I had was my car. I'm sleeping on this dude's son on a day bed thing. And so I had no money, none. And he's a retired physician. And he's like, he comes home one day and he goes, bro, you need to get the F out of my house. I love you, dude, but you can't, you gotta like grow up. You're 30 whatever years old. And I was like, but I thought we were friends. And he's like, we are friends, but I didn't let you live here to raise you, dude. Like, you need I said, but I don't have any money. And he gives me a $20 bill.
Take it down, Ken, take it down a little. That was a little over the top. Let's take that again.
Let
me hear the line, but I'm all out of money.
I don't have any money.
All right.
So he's like, here's $20. That's the last $20 I'm giving you. You need to go figure it out. Start your own deal, do something, but you need to make some money. And I'm like, you're right. And what am I going to do? And he's like, start a get back into website development and marketing. You're good at that. And blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I went out that day, bought a pack of cigarettes because I smoked back then. They were $3 a pack. And I had $17 left. I said, well, I got to put gas in my car. So I put $10 in my car and I have $7 left for the rest of my life. Literally at that moment, I had $7 for the rest of my life. And I said, I guess I can buy McDonald's dollar meal. That'll sustain me. I'll figure it out. And I went out that day and I knocked on doors. I made the decision I was going to go sell somebody a website. Somebody in this freaking town needs my help and I'm going to go find them. I knocked on doors all day long, had 50 business owners tell me no. And I came across one guy that said, you know what? I need a little bit of work done. If you can change this, and this for me and fix this up, I'll give you $600. That was like $6 million to me at the moment, right? But I had made the decision. I'm not freaking quitting until somebody says yes. And I just kept going. And then it all just started snowballing from there. But it's one of my favorite quotes is in Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. And the quote is this: it is in our moments of decision that our destiny is shaped. It's when we make the freaking decision. When I made the decision to go to an AA meeting instead of the bar, my life changed.
Yeah.
It's in the moments of decision. Like Scott saying, I'm done with this show. And
wait a minute. Where'd I go there?
It's in Scott's moments of decision like this that
I think that it overwhelmed him.
Oh my God. Looks like your camera was unplugged.
Well, here, I'll take you off for a second. I'll watch for you to come back on. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting image there, though, the circular version of Scott. That was kind
now
of cool.
it says he's completely disconnected or something. Your guests will need to connect their mic/cam. So, yeah. Anyway.
Keep going, bud. I'm with you.
That's it. I'm just saying that I think that, we've got to make it's like at the moment there, Scott's back. It was like the moment that I decided to write my book. After putting it off for 25 years, people said, dude, you need to write a book. You got some stories, you got some wisdom. Like you need, and I'll do that. But it never occurred to me that, because I always made the decision to make excuses. Like, well, who's going to publish me? I'm a high school dropout. Like how do I get published? Where do I even start? Now I'm reading all these stories about Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield getting turned down by 167 publishers or whatever it was,
Yeah. Like, they've only sold 500 million books.
I know. Right. Can you imagine being the publisher that turned them down?
It's the publisher's version of Decca Records saying no to the Beatles. Right? I mean, really, saying no. Wouldn't that would follow you the rest of your life? Oh, that's the guy that said no.
Yeah.
That's the genius.
Yeah. Yes.
That said no.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's who the term genius should be reserved for, Scott. I really do.
Jeanus. Genius.
I'm glad you were able to pop back on so quickly. Hey, Nate, good evening to you.
Hey, Nate.
That's our old buddy Hyena, isn't it?
It is. Good memory, dude.
Hey, baby, my memory, it's still
you're on it.
Because I didn't want to delve into this with Scott being off, so I'm glad he's back with us. But
I'm off most of the time.
But Cecily, my dear friend Cecily Adams, God rest her soul. She was a full-time casting director for Third Rock from the Sun, and then went from there to that 70s show for Fox Television, and did that until her death at age 46. But I was friends with Cess for years, long before she got into casting. And she listed the primary reasons why actors don't get hired. And it's interesting because these have a hefty spillover factor, meaning I think these things are true in life, but they were casting observations. And from someone who watches all day, every day, desperation coming into the office, trying to book a job. Some of them shopping for a healed sense of self-worth, but they're desperate to get a job on these shows. And she said the biggest mistakes are the scene was too generic. It really wasn't specific. So absence of specifics. The other reason was, she said that actors tend to make a 5-course meal out of a snack. Great advice. So understand what is a meal in life and what is a snack. This was the parsley analogy that I offered about you don't put parsley next to a hot dog, and you don't put hot dogs on china. You put them on a paper plate where they belong with mustard and ketchup, or relish or whatever, but they don't need parsley. Nobody says, and now your hot dog. They're seldom preceded by a drum roll as they arrive. But the third one she mentioned is she said that the scenes were colossally underimagined. Her word, underimagined. And I thought, wow, I believe you. That makes total sense as an actor and as an acting coach. But since that's true, not if it is, but since it is there a chance that might be true for life as well? Because I've always thought the same thing, that sadly, many people wind up in a box having colossally underimagined what might have been.
God, that's so true.
And so I set out on course to develop the extra mile as a direct result of that observation that was happening in casting offices. So to that point, this is where the whole food in the undershorts concept came from. Because to me, Scott, you talked about you have to first be able to identify the box.
Yeah.
And my spin, if I can offer what I think the box isn't even yours.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
box isn't yours. The box is society's idea that has been
Yes.
downloaded onto you, making it your box, provided, and this is key, provided you allow them to do so by co-signing that download. If you co-sign it and say, well, okay, I guess I won't challenge that, then all of a sudden that now operates as the truth in your life. So going out of the box, all it really means is stepping outside of the traditional societal downloads. And that's all it is. To me, that's my thought. Hang on, Ken, one sec, because I want to give an example of this. And I may have told you, gentlemen, this story before. If I didn't, it is the perfect segue to tell it now, and I'll tell it quickly. It's the series I did with Tim Conway.
Yeah.
The series I did with Tim Conway was called The Beef. It was an improv show entirely. And this was the notice that they sent out with regard to the audition. They let the actors know that there was no script. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Adrian is another person that I met on Clubhouse. Nice to see you. It is indeed. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I wind up getting the news. Here was the news. You go in, and I'm sure I shared this story with you, but I just feel like I want to tell it right now. You're to go in. They specifically said, Glenn, be there 30 minutes before your appointed time. And I was at the tail end of the last day of casting out of a 10-day session. They allotted 5 days for casting. They thought they would have found their person after the first 5. They didn't. They rolled it over into the second week, and I was called in on the last day, the last slot. So I was the last actor they saw of all of them. Here were the instructions. When you get there, be there 30 minutes early, sign in, and next to the sign-in sheet, there will be a list of 25 mock beefs. They're made up. The show is called The Beef. And what they want you to do is look these over. These are actual scripted beefs, meaning complaints that people have. And your job is to make that beef funny with no script. And you're going to walk in. Now, this could be viewed as intimidating. It could certainly be viewed as daunting, perhaps at the highest level of any kind of meeting, because you're going to have a room full of people going, okay, funny boy, make me laugh, with no script.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm seeing all of these actors that are pulling up the sheet and reading them over and feverishly trying to come up, first of all, with which one you're doing, because they had 25 and it was just a one-line caption. Here's the beef. And then you have to go make it funny. And obviously they saw all different ones performed for them, but you've got 30 minutes to sit there, look at it, come up with some shtick and go in and do it. So it comes to me. I walk into the room and they were very kind. They said, hey, this was pre-24, so this was in the 90s. And I knew that if I booked this job, it would be a running role with one of my childhood heroes, which was Tim Conway. Because Tim Conway is the star of the show. He's the host, and they're looking for a roving reporter who can travel all around the United States with these actual beefs. These are not scripted, that are sent into the network, real people with real life complaints, and your job is to go fly to those people, meet them, and make their beef funny. So I walked into the room, and they said, hey, Glenn, we talked for just, a minute. And then they said, so did you get a chance to look over the list of beefs? And I said, yes. And they said, and which one did you choose? I said, well, to be clear, this is an improv show, if I'm to understand this correctly. There will be no scripts. They said, yeah. And I said, so the whole thing is made up spur of the moment. And they said, yeah. I said, which is exactly why I didn't choose one. So tell you what, why don't you choose one for me and let's rock?
Wow.
Who do you think got the job?
Yeah.
Wow.
And not only did I get the job, but in the moment before I even did the bit, the director couldn't stop himself. He said, okay, before you even get underway, I need to tell you that we have seen about 60 people a day for 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And no one has done what you just did.
Wow.
Let's see what you got. He was letting me know that everyone before me had played by the rules.
Yeah.
Everyone had followed instructions. I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of following instructions, but there are times, baby, when we need to put our snowflake-like fingerprint on something. And this is what I coach my students on. Here's the job. The task at hand is not to book the job. The job is to let them know they done been paid a visit. And that's how I teach it.
Yeah.
Let them know they've been paid a visit. And I saw them in the room energetically hire me.
Right.
I saw it occur. And then lo and behold, I get out in my car. By the time I get home, I've got a message waiting for me that they want to hire me for the series. And I got a chance to work with Tim Conway for a year. Had I followed instructions, there's a really good chance mathematically that I would not have been hired.
Yeah.
You got to break the rules.
You know, I was thinking as you were talking that, and we've talked about this before. I don't know if it's been on this show, probably has been, but people are given this programming. I refer to it a lot. You know, we're programmed at a young age and we're actually rewarded for thinking the way that the adults teach us. We're rewarded for doing it their way, which they call the right way,
And we're
punished for doing it the wrong way, which is not their way. And so we all carry this programming into our adult lives, and it keeps us in the box, metaphorical box that we're talking about. And people go through their entire lives staying in that box with their political beliefs, their religious beliefs, their how I should dress beliefs, how I should behave, should I have a beard, not have a beard, whatever it is. Like it's almost all of it is we're inside of this box that somebody else put us in, and we spend our entire lives justifying and creating situations that keep us in that box, and we do shit to justify staying there. We say things, we do things, we set up our lives just so we don't have to ever leave the box. And it's so unconsciously done, and nobody ever thinks about that.
This just became my favorite show, by the way.
But
it did, because of the topic we're on. I love this.
I think this is the biggest problem with humanity, is we're all living in this effing fear of getting outside of the freaking box that somebody else put us in. Like, get out of your damn box.
Well, not everybody, and you know that that's not.
I retract. I said
okay.
I said not everybody, but a lot of people. That is a huge problem with this world.
Certainly the majority.
Majority, and
Certainly
I'm not. This isn't me. I'm not trying to be like a pompous ass about it, or in no way am I. Because listen, I've been in that box.
Ken, I don't think you're attacking. I think this is the voice of love. I think this is compassion. This is you as a fellow human being saying, "Come on, kids, let's rock." There is a life to be had outside of societal imprinting.
My favorite book on creativity is by a guy named Roger von Eck, OECH, and it's called A Whack Upside the Head. And it makes a point that prior to reading the book, I hadn't really considered. He said, all of our education is on finding the first right answer and then stopping. When you are a kid in elementary school, 2 + 2 = 4, stop. That's the only answer. There can never be another right answer. 16th president of the United States is Abraham Lincoln. Stop. There can never be another right answer. And when we are taught and trained that the first correct answer must be the right answer, what we do is to ingrain within ourselves a lack of curiosity, a lack of risk-taking, a lack of all the things that you were just so passionately talking about, Ken, because, hey, I found a job I like. I'd better stay here for a long time now because I might not like the next thing I go to. Therefore, why should I try to stretch? Or you try to stretch and it doesn't work out the way that you want. So I'll go back to the way it used to be and I'll never try it again. And
velvet handcuffs.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's how many How many times do we see that where people live, they won't move, or where people, work, they won't change. And it's
the reason people stay in bad relationships.
yeah. It's the devil, so to speak. Well, who wants to live with the devil, for God's sakes? But it is why Thoreau wrote about most men and women lead lives of quiet desperation, because we don't like what we've got, but we're too afraid to try anything else.
Yeah.
And it's to me it's just one of the saddest things in life. I was on a call earlier this week with my friend, Dr. Nito Quabain, who's the president of High Point University, that you heard me talk a lot about. And he said, I think one of the most tragic things is that right now is the time to be thinking big. But when we get into a time of change and challenge, most people start thinking smaller instead of thinking bigger. Now is the time to think bigger, not smaller. And I couldn't agree more. I just thought that was so good.
So following on this path of buying into collective consciousness, before we do, that's just wrong, which we're only moments away from doing that.
The time that we do it every week.
But I want to say this while it's fresh on my mind. Think of all the societal downloads that we just accidentally bought into because someone told us it was true. So I'm going to give you one. We could do easily multiple shows on just this subject. We truly could. So I'm going to limit myself to just one. And I do want to hear what Justin's experience was when he came into the room, because he came in and watched us at the workshop recently. So for example, I remember hearing my whole life how teachers were underpaid. There's no money in teaching. Right? I mean, am I wrong, guys? You heard it. We've all heard this, that teachers, it's a noble profession, but here's the problem. They don't make squat, right? So this is what we were told. Well, what if you don't agree with that? What if that's all it takes, at least to begin with, is the decision to decide that I don't agree with that? I don't agree with that. That's your belief. It does not have to be that way, because you said teachers. What you didn't go on to say, society, is you didn't say, how about teachers who work for themselves?
Right.
Teachers who work for themselves. So I will tell you, again, this is not me being boastful. I'm showing you the art of a paradigm shift where you can ignore what you were taught. We run a school right here in Dallas that obviously now goes out to no geographical restrictions, called The World, courtesy of Ken Walls coming in and helping me with Zoom. But we run this school very successfully, and we can pay everything without a dime that I make from acting. Made really good living because it's our school and just the two of us run it. Carolyn runs all the paperwork through the school because I don't want to do the clerical, and she doesn't need help doing it. That's her baby. She would never want to teach it because that's my baby. So for the two of us, it's a perfect partnership. Yeah. We get to set the price. We get to set it, and we're not greedy. So we wound up setting it at a very reasonable price, but we understood that reasonable times many equals a lot, right? So this was our business model, and we've just made that societal download a lie. We've made it a lie for us. And so we have to think in terms of, well, okay, do I have to teach the traditional way? And the answer is no. You get to teach however you want to teach. And there's nothing wrong with teaching the traditional way, but here's the thing. Don't do it and simultaneously complain about the money you're not making. Don't do that. Understand that there are certain restrictions inherent with the box that you're doing it in. And if you don't like those restrictions, here's the thought. You're going to need to do it another way. You're going to need to do it in a different box. What you don't need to do is give up teaching. It is not an either or scenario. You can still teach, but just decide, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to do it society's way. And I'm going to tell you, you can make a phenomenal living as a teacher unless you've made other plans.
I've heard teachers, school teachers complain about they don't make enough for what they put up with. And my solution is quit, go do something else. This is the only flipping life that you're gonna. Maybe there is another life. Maybe we live multiple times. I don't know.
But this is the one we're living right now.
The only one I'm aware of, right?
Right.
And so while I'm here, I'm not going to live my life like trying to fit inside of this societal box that if I'm a teacher and I don't know, making 50 grand, or I don't know what they make, but making whatever, and I'm unhappy and I find my place in a position where I'm bitching about not making enough money for what I have to do, then it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Well, that wouldn't be fair to the kids. Look, I'm not going to be a teacher to take care of somebody else's children. And if it's not working out, then I'm going to go do my thing wherever. It doesn't matter. Like, this is my life. It's my life. This is your life. Like, you get to choose what you want to do. For the love of God, wake up.
And certainly we're not knocking teaching. It's beautiful. And I've loved some great teachers. What I'm saying is, if you're going to commit to doing something, here's kind of the rules of life. You don't get to do it and complain about it. You don't get to do both. Right. Either complain and then don't do that. Right. Or do it and stop complaining.
A friend of mine, teacher back in Indiana, and we have had the conversation about, teachers don't get paid. But she said, there's a lot of professions that could say the same thing. And she said, if I want a salary that is guaranteed, if I want to be a part of a union that supports me, if I want 3 months off in the summer, if I want, everything in life is a trade-off. Yep. The problem is people who accept the one part of the trade-off and then complain and moan about the other part of the trade-off. It's a package deal. It's a package deal. It doesn't mean we to you guys' point, let me echo again. It doesn't mean we're disrespecting that in the least.
Not even slightly.
No. I think for all of us, we could all talk about a teacher that had such an important impact on our lives. By the way, there's a lot of jobs that pay very well, and nobody is going to have their lives changed because you did that particular job that paid really well, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a satisfaction that teachers get that is above and beyond the paycheck they take home. For some, that is enough. And for others, to your point, Ken, they need to find something else to do.
Scott, can you read this line from Joan? This beautiful.
Joan says, my dad always told me that if you don't love your job, it's not worth any amount of money they pay you.
It's true.
That's great fatherly advice. And Dennis had a nice comment about his own program that you just put up there.
Yeah, let me find that again and put it up because I love his comments.
My university in China has allowed me to write and teach my own public speaking courses. I love the freedom.
I have something up I'm going to share on the screen. It's something that
we may have to go a few minutes over tonight, guys, but that's okay.
Hey, it's not Super Bowl Sunday.
Right. And we got to remember to give them the notice about next week's show.
Yeah. So I have this thing up on the screen, and I know Scott has probably seen this, and Glenn, I would imagine you have. Sure. This is a quote out of, I believe, Zig Ziglar's, I think his first book. I'm not sure. Scott, you may know. This.
Can you read it?
Yeah. I bargained. Hold on. Let me get it in the center of my screen. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay me no more, though I begged at every tide when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer and will pay you what you ask. But when you have set the wages, then you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to find dismayed. Whatever I had asked of life, life would have gladly paid.
I mean, that's at the epicenter of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's not even in the lane next door. That is the groove we're in right now. That's exactly right.
I bring that. It's on. I have it on my desktop. Like of my computer. I literally bring that up often. Like when you are complaining about anything, and I forget where I heard this. Brian Tracy, I think. Never complain and never explain. Like if you're going to be a teacher, then dude, it's in the book I'm reading. It's in the book I'm reading by your buddy.
Mark Sanborn, the Fred Factor. Yeah.
The Fred Factor. I just had it pulled up a little bit ago. I'm going to scroll over to it because in the very first sentence of chapter 2 in this book, The Fred Factor, he quotes Abraham Lincoln. Whatever you are, be a good one.
Imagine that.
There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, just be a good one. And I can promise anybody watching, anybody listening, that if you are a teacher, you're a firefighter, you're a police officer, you're a public speaker, you're an actor, you're a coach, whatever you are, if you're complaining about it, you suck.
Well, don't sugarcoat it, Ken.
Yeah.
Now you have something for, that's just wrong.
No, you're saying be the best one there is. Just There's one speed. That speed is all the way, or go do something you can get excited about going all the way with. You know that one of the expressions that I disallowed, and I disallow my students from doing this, but I disallowed it from my own lexicon, is I would not ever, in fact, I would remove myself. This is how intentional I was about it. When I would hear circles of people use this expression, I'm going to give you the expression, I would walk away physically from them and never say it myself. And the expression was starving artist.
Oh.
Another one, struggling actor. I'd turn and leave. And I left because I realized that they were attempting to download this consciousness at the very theater where I was training. And even the coaches, which is inexcusable, the coaches were coaching, get ready for your life as an artist to suck. That was coming from the coaches. In other words, we respect your decision. You've made an important decision to honor the yearnings of your soul, but just so you understand, it's going to be a tough road and it's probably going to suck. Most people don't ever make a living at it, so it's tough. Get ready for it to suck. And like, oh my God. And I simply, check, please. That was my check, please moment of I'm out of here. I can't deal with these downloads. I mean, what great Olympian diver ever walked out on the platform and said to themselves, well, this is going to suck, but let me go ahead and dive anyway. I mean, really? So I never bought into that. And that's when I wrote the teaching about not pursuing one's goal, to stop pursuing your dreams. And I've been encouraging people to stop pursuing their dreams ever since, but instead teach them to claim their dreams. Dreams are claimable. They are havable. They don't need to be pursued. You can decide. I didn't move to LA to pursue an acting career. I moved to LA at 18 to have a career. And that was my mindset. Like seriously, at 18, my mindset was time to go have this career, not pursue one. Hey, Scott, usually at the very end of the show,
we usually wait until it's time to sign off to do this. So let's do it right now. It's time to play that weekly game, Loved by Thousands.
Millions. And millions.
Except for the starving artists.
If you smell what Ken and Glenn are doing, it's time to play. Ooh, that's just wrong.
Yeah. Ken, you sort of snuck yours in there, but give us more on that. Or give us something new this week that was just wrong because, man.
Man, let me think. You go first, dude.
While you're thinking, I'll tell you mine, because mine is actually joy filled, and it is so wrong that it's right. I don't think I've ever had one that was so wrong that it was right, and it produced a huge smile on my face. And it happened on Friday when my mom and I were talking. God bless her. My mom and I are buds, and we've been buds for so many years. In addition to, and I think it's a real privilege when you're not so caught up in the titles. And I don't know if mom is watching tonight, but I want to tell you, if you are, this is a very special blessing for me, is that you're not just my mom. You're someone I love and respect as a human being. You're someone that I'm also friends with, in addition to having been born from you. It's extraordinary when you also get to be friends with your parent. It's just a lovely thing. So in keeping with that spirit, she asked me the day before she was asking me if the movie was coming out tomorrow with Denzel Washington. And this was on Thursday. And then the next day, we agreed that morning would be a terrific morning, and that there's probably no better way that I could celebrate being in this film than to come over to her house and wash the bird poop off of her car. That was my ramp into feeling like a movie star. Hey, honey, come on, let's do this thing. And so I went over there. I mean, this is my family. This is the beauty of my family. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That's how you have been embraced by the Morshauers. So many of the women that were dated by my brothers, because I had two stepbrothers, and stepsister and Brian, and we were at that dating age growing up, like the Brady Bunch. And whenever someone would come in that was special, or if we said, we asked so-and-so to marry, I asked Lisa to marry me. That's Scott. His wife's name is Lisa. And it's like, Lisa, welcome, family. It's so good that you were able to visit here in Dallas. Honey, could you take out the trash? It's like a rite of passage. If you're a Morshower, you get saddled up with these tasks. So I am out there listening to Clubhouse with two big buckets of hot water, because you don't want to just scrub. I don't know if you guys have had the big grackle turds on a car, but they have berries in them and they are acidic and they will burn the paint. Like, you don't go to the car wash with that or you'll ruin your car. Yeah. So the only way to do it properly is to lovingly use really hot water and just patiently, gently, with the soft side of a sponge. It's very felt like, it's not abrasive. Just massage that hot water. And I massaged for an hour and 20 minutes all of the turds on my mom's car. And wow, that's so wrong that it's almost right. So I love you, Mom. Thanks for that.
That is hilarious. Scott, go ahead. I got nothing.
I'm just wishing I had some bird turds on my back, because that hot water and soft brush.
You're ready for me to come over and give you a massage.
It sounds pretty exciting.
Well, if you come to Texas, lay out in the parking lot, the grackles will take a dump on your back, and then I'll be right there lovingly
dumping hot water. Dumping hot water, scalding hot water on you.
Scalding water, yeah. Oh, man.
Here, Scott, let me get that bird shit off of you.
I don't really have much of one, other than when I knew something like that program I did on Distinctive Story, I can't shut my mind off, the night before. I just can't. I don't know. I'm this way before a speech. Glenn, maybe you're the same way when you're traveling. You're in a hotel room.
You don't get a lot of sleep.
Yeah, you're by yourself, and you just, in your head, you're just thinking about it. And so I don't get much sleep, and did the program, and it's also, and I'm like, you guys can relate to this, the energy is just different when you're not in front of a group.
No doubt.
And so it's just like, so the thing was over, and Tammy and I are having a glass of wine, and I forget it, we got something on television, and the next morning she said, I just wanted you to know that sound effect that was all the way through the movie was really, really added to my enjoyment of the evening. And I went, and she said, that sound that.
Oh, gee.
That was the soundtrack that you were providing.
I was sawing logs, and the soundtrack of the movie was. So I guess I'm speaking on Tammy's behalf tonight with, ooh, that was just wrong.
Yeah. Well, Joan, you just helped me come up with an ooh, that's just wrong, because we are getting hammered right now with snow.
Wow.
We have about, I'd say we have somewhere around 6 or 7 inches down already. And
wow,
they're saying it's supposed to snow all day tomorrow into Tuesday. We could get up to 12 inches, they said. So we're getting hammered with snow right now. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know it doesn't look like it in the background there, but yeah, and when I saw it, I just thought, because it's been mild winters here in Ohio for the last few years, and I heard we were supposed to get some snow. I figured maybe an inch or two, and I open up the weather app and I'm like, that says 8 to 12 inches. That's just wrong. It's really wrong. I hate it. So anyway, yeah. There you go, Scott. There you go.
We're getting ready to close.
That is not Las Vegas, by the way.
Are there any other comments we want to peek at before we say goodnight to our fabulous friends here? I didn't see anything from Renee tonight, but I know she watches every Sunday evening.
Sally in Connecticut. I just got a text. A friend of mine is watching in Connecticut, and same thing. It's like hunkering down for forecast of temps in the teens and a foot of snow. Yay, Connecticut.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Justin, that's a good Renee is here. There she is.
Hey, there's Renee.
There's Renee. Hopefully Renee had a beautiful birthday week.
Hey, all I can say is this. I think this has been an unbelievable show, and I really hope that and by the way, Scott, I was sitting here thinking a second ago, I called up our buddy Jeffrey Gittimer, and I said we were chatting. I said, dude, I did Scott McKean's workshop. He goes, yeah, and I go, yeah. And he said, what'd that dick have to say? I'm kidding. He didn't say that. I'm kidding. It wasn't surprising.
If he didn't, I'm surprised.
I know. But I said, no, it was phenomenal, man. And I told him, I'm speaking at that event in Dallas in April. And I'm like, you knew that, right, Glenn? That I'll be.
Yeah,
in
you
Dallas?
told me.
Yeah. And I said, it's really going to help me kind of craft my speech. So yeah, man, it was such a great program. Anybody that has a chance to attend, I know you're going to do another one, make damn sure that you get there, because it's golden. It's really it's worth the very, very minimal investment. So, and
I really look forward to COVID disappearing, because the world needs Scott back on stage.
Amen.
He has such command of the audience that it's just a shame to be reduced to the box known as the internet. Yeah. There's nothing like a live audience. That's all there is to it. There, we continue our coaching online. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Totally
agree. I appreciate that greatly, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks for all that you have done to help inspire me to do it. Both Glenn, you with understanding story more completely and watching you bring stories to life, and Ken being able to make it happen online like this through the Grow Live Academy. Check it out at
www.growlive.
You know who would love to do our show? I spoke with her this morning. Is Melina Kanakaridis.
Oh, no kidding. Wow, that'd be fantastic.
No, we can't have her.
Who used to do The Resident with us, and who's been around forever.
I freaking
was the lead in
her.
CSI New York, right opposite Gary Sinise for all those years.
And she taught in your class, and
she also came and taught my class.
Oh my God,
she's my bud, and she's a sweetheart. And we'll have Melina come by
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
sometime in the next couple of weeks. I do want to give you guys a calendar date to circle, and I think it's the same date Brad is going to be on your show. Oh, thank you, Brad, for that input.
I knew someone was going to go there.
You know what? I didn't
know
touch
who.
it. I didn't touch it.
Yeah, I'm not touching it either.
I didn't read it before I put it on screen.
Hey, Scott, I didn't touch it, and I didn't touch it. So, right?
Oh my God! You know, Brad's still watching. On man, I was hoping he was going to do that.
You know what's funny is Brad doesn't really care about the show, but he'll sit there and just look for an opening. He's just plotting his exactly. Just lob it right into the
I
game.
think he loves our show, actually. I think
So a couple of quick things. First of all, if you guys would like to circle The Resident for Tuesday night, we have a hell of a show this week, and I will tell you that a week from Tuesday is the best episode of the show I've ever done. So that will be on the 9th of February.
Wow.
And I encourage you to take a look. So regarding next week's show, Joan, next week, as you all know, is Super Bowl Sunday, and we've never had to make a decision with regard to the show. No, we are not canceling. So we're going to be troopers, but what we're not going to do is be idiots, because none of us are idiots. And an idiot would run their show directly opposite the Super Bowl. So we're not going to do that. Guys, shall we go ahead and give them a time? And right now, let's go ahead and be sure what time the Super Bowl comes on.
I've got it right here, guys, and I would suggest that we're on from 4:30 to 6 Eastern time, because the Super Bowl kicks off at 6:30. But between 6 and 6:30, it's always an incredible rendition of the national anthem and the flyover and all the really cool pregame.
So give us our start time next week. Are we on at 4:30?
4:30 Eastern. We will finish at 6. That lets everybody see the pregame between 6 and 6:30. Super Bowl kicks off at 6:30 Eastern.
Let me ask you this, Scott. Since they're used to us starting on the hour, should we maybe start at 4? Or is 4:30 okay? How about let's ask them to drop a 1 if they have a preference between 4:30 and 4? Because I don't care.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. So.
Anyone? I love the fact, I got to tell you guys, like our numbers, I see the number, you guys don't, but our numbers are staying solid, man. I mean, we're getting some pretty good numbers.
By the way, Ken, I don't know if you saw it, but to me, reading the comments as it goes, Nate Martin had one of the lines of the night. He said, "I volunteered at the local starving artist shelter. I fed them lies."
I saw that.
That is a great.
I missed that. That's beautiful.
Brian
that
says
reminds
4.
me.
4.
That reminds me of the line. I stayed up all night the other night to see what time sunrise was, and then it dawned on me.
Oh my God. This has been a fantastic show, gentlemen.
Great to be with you guys.
All right, let's go with what Scott said. We're going to come on live next Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, right, Scott?
A lot of folks are saying 4. Glenn.
4, okay.
You want to do that? We'll do 4 Eastern.
All right, 4. So it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, and that'll be 1 p.m. Yes, we know it changes it to a midday show. And here's the deal. We love you, whether you're with us or not next week. We understand many of you may be hosting parties. We just don't want to break our streak of doing it no matter what every Sunday. So we will do Super Bowl Sunday, and we'll be out of here at least an hour before. What is it, 30 minutes before the Super Bowl starts?
Well, yeah, the good thing is if we do 4 to 5:30, then that gets us off an hour before kickoff, which means if people are going to a party or having a party, then we're finished up in time for them probably to get to wherever
to do their thing.
So that works out fantastic.
All right, take us out, Scott. It's been a beautiful week. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting our show.
Get out of the box. Get out of the box.
Get out of the box.
We love you guys, and thanks again for watching our last show of January on the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. We'll see you Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. 4 o'clock.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great week. See you guys.